Ace Queen will happily play, and you could just shove as a bit of an overbet, but the reason I like this is because one of these guys could decide to 3-bet us light, and we're very happily going to call if we get 3-bet. So this is really a great spot. This guy is 2014, looks like he knows what he's doing, and I mean, it's a call against anybody, but what I'm saying, against a guy like this, like, you just have huge equity against his range. He could have any ace and just a ton of hands. Raise with ace-9, and you like to fold to this guy. This is another one. I'll let you guys, if you want, put this in stove, but I think he's going to give me more credit raising in earlier position. I think a lot of his range has me dominated, but it is pretty close. They're getting really good odds, so feel free to stove that and let me know your thoughts on that one. But in the actual hand, I make a bit of a tight fold. In this spot here, I'm calling any player, and the thing about it is that one way to look at it is you could put in a wizard, you could pull up the Nash calculator and do a winner-take-all structure, but it's kind of a quick and dirty guideline. For a 5-blind, blind-on-blind stack, I'm almost never folding a king, particularly when you factor in the antes. So this is a really clear call in my mind. Plus, the players who don't really know much about ranges or haven't looked at them too quickly, when you just snap the guy off with king high, you look like a badass when you actually have the best hand, so that's pretty sweet. But of course, for people who have actually looked more at ranges, it's really a very straightforward call that you have to make, even though in practice it seems like whenever you make calls that you're reluctant to make, the guy has kings or whatever, and but definitely a call you're going to want to make there. We get unplayable hands for a while. I'm not going to force anything. We've chipped up nicely, and there's really no need to force anything if we're not presented with decent spots, because we will get plenty of decent spots if we have even a little modicum of patience. So we're going to 3-bet shove anybody here, or for these two later guys, it'll be a very trivial call. Don't know what he had there, but based on the chips, looks like we don't hold. King 2 would be pretty close there, but for sure we want to shove super wide. An easy ISO with any ace high there, any ace, any pair, any Broadway, we would go ahead and ISO there. And we managed to hold. And the thing with all these ISOs is that this one I think should be fairly clear, but in general, remember, there's a lot of overlay, okay? So when we go up against this guy, if we manage to take this pot heads up, then there's 2,400 in overlay. We're matching as 2,900. We're getting almost 2-to-1 if we know nobody else is going to get involved. So remember, you don't have to be beating this guy's range. You just need decent equity, and you're going to have a great spot, given all the overlay, to butt heads with him in those types of situations. We're again not getting anything, but we're not too concerned. There are going to be plenty of opportunities. And by opportunities, I don't just mean getting a good hand, but any kind of good situation. You know, it folds us in the small blind, and like, you know, this guy who's 25-8 is going to be a good candidate to shove on. So there are plenty of good situations that can come up, even if you're staying relatively card dead. Now, here, you've got to think about, pretend this guy just shoved, right? Because obviously, when he leaves 830 behind, it's as if he had shoved. So it's like he's shoving under 5 blinds, and with the antes too, I'm going to be getting probably about 2-to-1 with the mid-suited queen, and we're even going to be ahead some of the time against hands like 10-9 suited. So I think this is definitely a call. And sure enough, he is a monster, so we like them making this, but if you go ahead and you put this up in Single Wizard, put into chim mode, and it should definitely be a call. 6-9 suit, I think a lot of players would shove here, and I don't hate that, because when the big blind calls, there is still overlay, but with the below average hand, I elect to just take the blind. And this is a good situation where we have approximately an average hand with good overlay from the antes.